Friend not in the story tells us about place to get palm readings. Lifting buddy and I go to get palms read. Show up to this shady-ass place at 10 in the morning, wearing our workout gear. Ghost bitch is already miring. Stereotypical scraggly gypsy woman shakes our hands and seats us at the table with a crystal ball. Ask who wants to go first. Hispanic heritage kicks in and I nope at the last minute. Friend chads up to the plate. Woman grabs his hand. He flexes slightly. Woman goes from smiling to horrified. Starts grabbing and studying his hand like a last will. Feeling weird, man. Tells my friend he's got something following him. Asks him if he did any Ouija voodoo shit. Says he smashed a hole in the wall when he was drunk lifting at home. Says there was some type of decorative skull behind it and he now uses it as a decoration in his bedroom. Gypsy tells us to leave without paying. At the gym 30 minutes later. Spotting friend while he benches. Some newbie dumbass is curling next to us. Like no joke, 6 inches away from us. Dude slips up and swings a 20 he's holding at friend's head. Throws the bar up and ducks just in time. Almost impale myself while trying to catch the bar. Newbie apologizes while friend gets back up and I'm shitting myself still. Tell friend he should go home. Friend looks unfazed and wants to continue. Leave to Abdullah's sister's house to get some sage and silver. Go back to gym and give it to friend. Next day. Friend looks happier than normal. Tells me some shit went down at his house. Says the power was dead even though his bills were paid and the rest of the neighborhood had power. Heard rattling of silverware. Uses flashlight app to see. Saw a silhouette of someone crawl under the kitchen counter. Nothing under the counter, not even shelves. Friend doesn't believe in Ouija shit and believes it's an intruder or animal. Friend grabs his pull-up bar and gets ready for sweet fit justice. Yells obscenities while patrolling his house. Says he sees what looks like a small humanoid crouched in his weight room. Gives 0 fucks and tosses the pull-up bar at the window. Shatters like a lanket kneecap squatting. Thing nowhere in sight. Friend then starts to consider Ouija shit. Calls other friend for advice. Our lifting group has some odd characters. Johnny answers and tells him to buy the sage and carry the silver. Says he'll be by with some holy water. Drops it off. I'll call my grandmother tomorrow to help. She's one of the medium people. Friend sits down on his couch while the house smells like old. Watch American Dad. Look at sage. Dried up and out. Goes to his pocket for the silver. Fucking melted. Instead of warm, it was cold. Starts to see something darting back and forth across the room. TV goes off and static comes on. Says high-pitched screaming fills the house. Friend gets mildly annoyed. Walks over to the weight room and smashes the skull against the wall in a fluid motion. Like, imagine walking into a room, tipping over a vase, then going back to doing what you were doing. He did that except threw a skull against the wall. Says house shook, screaming got higher than stopped. Lights go off again. Hears numerous footsteps getting closer to him. Tells me he's mildly freaked out at this point. I'm very concerned that he said mildly. Says he doused himself in holy water and started swinging as hard as he could into the darkness. Only hears the wind breaking on his fists. Says he heard the footsteps getting further away from him. Screams, "Nuh-uh!" Starts running around his house and swinging in the darkness. Fucks up his living room in the process. Tells me he swear he made contact with something fleshy a few times. Doesn't remember falling asleep. Wakes up and goes to the gym to tell me this the next day. Friend goes outside to make frequent calls throughout his routine. Asks him if he's trying to get in touch with a priest. Tells me he's calling his home phone and leaving angry voice messages for the ghosts. Says he would buy a snake just to flatten it out with a rolling pin until it dies. Friend goes home again. Fast forward a few days. Looks completely normal. Asks Johnny if lifting buddy was alright. Tells me it's disturbing how well he's handling the situation. Says he went to lifting buddy's house to check up on the sitch. Feels a presence, but it feels scared. Lifting buddy walks out of his bathroom naked, wiping his ass with a Ouija board towel. Throws it on the floor and kicks it into the living room. Pours more holy water on it, then takes it outside to burn it. Asks friend if he is hungry. Sure. Says he pulls out an opened Ouija board he bought at Spencer's and uses it as a fucking cutting board. Says he repeatedly stabbed the cutting knife into the board when he was not using it. Breaks the board in half after he's done chopping up tomatoes and throws it in the trash. washes his hands, and pisses in the trash can. Even I think this is disrespecting the spirits too much. They both eat grilled chicken salad, then Johnny leaves. Says on the way out, lifting buddy goes in the lifting room and puts another crucifix on the wall. I'm putting Jesus on this wall, and I'll be back to fucking masturbate on my bench press while thinking about Lucifer's whore daughter. Punches a hole in the wall before leaving. Johnny calls his Abdullah that night. Abdullah goes to lifting buddy's house with the priest the next day. Says her Abdullah and priest were also amazed/disturbed with how lifting buddies is fighting the situation. Priest actually cowered and admired lifting buddy pissing naked on the satanic Bible he bought at some shady bookstore. Tells priest he walks around naked a lot lately and talks shit about Satan. Priest leaves before cleansing. Abdullah stays to do her medium thing. Tries to contact the spirits. Says it was a group of entities that were very pissed that their shrine was disturbed. Tells her that they have no power since lifting buddy isn't even remotely scared of anything they've done. Lifting buddy walks back into weight room with a dead snake. Abdullah says the entities scattered like roaches. Check out what I found on the street this morning. Takes a bite out of an apple. A fucking dead snake. Throws a snake on the floor. Puts holy water and salt on it. Kicks it into the carpet a few times before peeling it off and throwing it into a trash can in the kitchen. Abdullah is what the fucking at this man's mental strength, or ignorance. Tries to contact the spirits again. They keep running from her. Finally talks to one. Says they are scared of lifting buddy. Ghosts are scared of my bulky friend. Abdullah asks what could make them pass on. Says they did black magic to get revenge on some asshole landlord from way back when. Says they had incriminating shit to shame his family within the wall with the skull. Abdullah tells lifting buddy what he needs to do. Lifting buddy goes to the weight room, makes the hole in the wall bigger by throwing a 15 through the wall. Finds a folder with records of some sort. I'm not lying about any of this, I swear, and especially this next part. Lifting buddy flips through the papers and wipes his balls with it. Abdullah, horrified, crumples them up and throws them into the corner of the room. Tells the spirits to piss off, then punches another hole in the wall. Total of 13 holes at this point. Abdullah says, "May God have mercy," in Spanish, then leaves. Goes back to lifting buddy's house a month later. Immediately goes to the weight room. More holes than wall. Destroyed as fuck. But like Halo descending from the heavens, the bench press and squatting racks are still there. Tries to contact spirits. Nothing. Smiles and asks my friend if he did what needed to be done. Again, not lying about any of this. Tells Abdullah he uncrumpled the papers and got the address of this bastard. Papers were only from 60 years ago, so the guy was still alive. Just old as dust. Finds the address of this guy in some sort of mansion. Knocks on the door wearing a Get Swole You Must Star Wars Yoda tank top. Broad shorts, pink sunglasses, and a backwards Chicago Bulls snapback. Johnny said lifting buddy went into a lot of detail about his wardrobe for this. Some scrawny white guy in his mid-30s opens the door. Lifting buddy holds out the papers and asks for the person in the paper's name. Hey Dad, someone's here to see you. He has documents. Lifting buddy lets himself in and finds the old man in his studies. Who are you? He notices the papers. Where'd you get that? Old man tries to grab at the papers. Lifting buddy punches the old man in the face. Dentures fly out. Says it was like some shit out of a movie. Crouches in his face and sets the old man straight Sherlock Holmes style. Guy's son runs in and jumps on lifting buddy's back. Lifting buddy stops mid-sentence, lets the guy down, then gut punches him until he hobbles out of the room and pukes in the hallway. Tells the old man to set shit right or he will be back for blood. Leaves. Fast forward a couple of days. Various cars outside of lifting buddy's house. Thinks the old man brought some friends and grabs his pull-up bar. Walks outside in his tank top and house shorts. Various families are thanking him and giving him home-cooked foods. Thank him for getting their grandparents' property back. The documents were apparently deeds swindled out by the old man. Families say the whole, "We'll never forget you" spiel and leave. Friend looks into Tupperware. Nothing but calories and carbs. Cookies, briskets, gumbo. Throws it all away and goes back to lifting in his weight room. See old man's name in the news a few days later. Apparently he was hated by the community for being a dick. Somehow only heard about him now. News doesn't disclose how he died. Don't know if it was from lifting buddy doing more damage than he thought, the ghosts getting their revenge, or natural causes. Hasn't had any paranormal problems since then except for one. Says he went to the kitchen for a late-night, non-cheating snack and saw full-body apparitions. They smiled at him. It says he grabbed an apple, head nodded while taking a bite, and walked away back to his bedroom. He stops halfway and turns around. "Holy fuck, you guys were real?" Spirits fade while smiling. Lifting buddy goes to sleep.